The following program is scheduled for 1 hour. Making their way into the studio, the tag team champions of Talk Radio, the Wrestling Guys.
Here we go. We are set. The final live show of the year. My name is Shawn. Welcome to the Wrestling Guys radio show, AM 910 WPFB, the voice of the Sin-Day Corridor. It is the Wrestling Guys. Wait, we need the proper award music. All right, here we go here. You ready? The Wrestling Guys 2002 Listener Awards, where you, the listeners, have voted who the best of the best is for the past year. Yes, indeed. 866-910-WPFB, 866-910-9732 is a toll-free number. Tony will be answering the phone tonight. Tony, answer the phone. Thank you very much. And tonight, we have, over the last few weeks, solicited your votes, your nominations for the top awards. Wrestler of the Year, Tag Team of the Year, Match of the Year, Local or Independent Wrestler of the Year. You had until midnight last night to get your awards in, to get your votes in, and we now have your winners. And throughout the next 53 minutes, we will be reading off the award winners. We will be delving into your nominations because there are a number of made-up awards, silly awards, whatever you want to call it. And they're very creative this year. You guys have outdone yourself, and we will be looking at those as well. And we have a bunch of prizes to give away. Of course, our grand prize tonight, we will be giving away at random a Sony PlayStation 2 video game system, a copy of SmackDown Shut Your Mouth from our very good friends at THQ. And I've said it before, that game has better storylines than what you see currently right now on television. And also 6 WWE DVDs for you to play on that PlayStation 2, courtesy of WWE Home Video. And we have a plethora of other prizes as well that will be doled out throughout the night. First of all, obviously, let's get you updated on the news of the day as the Wrestling Guys 2002 Listener Awards continue. I like that music. Very nice. That's a big finish there. All right, here we go. First of all, Raw this last Monday did a... What the heck is that?
WPFB wants to give you...
Just stop that right there. Thank you very much. Anyway. Let's see what threw me off there. Raw this last Monday did a 3.5 rating, a little bit of an increase. That's a good thing, but not the kind of increase you would expect after a Sunday night pay-per-view. However, I think at this point, any increase will be considered a good thing right now for the WWE. Triple H is going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. The initial fear was that he possibly once again torn his quad. However, he does have a partially torn quad. It does not require surgery. It was suspected that the injury occurred during his Best of 3 Falls match with Shawn Michaels at Sunday's Armageddon. This courtesy of WWE.com. And so he will be out 2 to 3 weeks. Kurt Angle is going to have surgery tomorrow on his knee, and that's been bothering him a little bit, and we'll see an Angle filmed on SmackDown, no pun intended, to explain his absence, and he should be out also 2 to 3 weeks. Both are scheduled to be at the Royal Rumble, where Kurt Angle right now, it looks like, will take on either Chris Benoit or have a three-way with Brock Lesnar and The Big Show. Also, Triple H at this point, as you well know, this last Monday, he will be facing Scott Steiner at the Royal Rumble. And I love the way they built up Steiner and Triple H this last Monday. Building them up that way, the good old-fashioned coming down, Scott Steiner to the ring, questioning Triple H's manhood, getting nose-to-nose. That's a much better way, in my opinion, to build for a world title match other than, let's say, having simulated sex with a mannequin inside of a casket. I personally like this last Monday with Scott Steiner, the way they built that up, much better than the, Katie Vick type thing. But anyway, that is that. NWA TNA tonight has their final show of the year. So far, the only matches that have been announced, an X-Division gauntlet match with AJ Styles, Jerry Lynn, The Amazing Red, Kid Cash, Tony Marmaluke, Jason Cross, Shark Boy, Jimmy Ray, Chris Daniels, and Low Key. It is the Gauntlet for the Gold rules, Royal Rumble type rules. Pinfalls and submission eliminations are allowed. No over-the-top rules, so over-the-top rope rules. So it is a kind of a gauntlet match. So NWA Tag Team titles will be on the line tonight. A three-way dance, Brian Lee and Slash against both Ron and Don Harris, and James Storm and Chris Harris. Also tonight, Easy Money popular guy in this area. He goes against Sonny Siaki for the X Division title. Would love to see Easy Money win that. Also, according to WWE.com, several of the SmackDown wrestlers were complaining from food poisoning. Last night at the SmackDown tapings, apparently some of the wrestlers had taken a chartered plane to the taping and ate tainted turkey sandwiches, but they were able to work through it, being the studs that they are. Rocky Johnson, the father of The Rock, has found work. He has been hired as a trainer by the WWE. He'll be spending 2 weeks a month down in Louisville working with OVW wrestlers and spending the other couple of weeks a month on the road training with some of the young stars in the WWE. 866-910-WPFB, 866-910-9732. We'll go ahead and take a quick call. It's Joe. You're on the Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB. Joe, what is up?
Hey, Shawn.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, I had a question. I've tried everything to get the radio station tonight, and I can't.
Okay.
I entered in the awards and everything.
You're fine.
I am?
Yes, you are. If you win.
You want to call me?
Yeah. That's why I have people give us their phone number and address and all that.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
All right, have a good show.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye. See, that's the dedication of the listeners we have. When they can't listen, they still call in. They still find a way. That's amazing. Thanks, Joe. 866-910-WPFB, 866-910-9732. We're going to take our break. When we come back, more of the Wrestling Guys 2002 Listener Awards. We'll get started with the Local or Independent Wrestler of the Year Award. When we come back here on AM 910, WPFB, the voice of the Mid-Miami Valley.
Don't miss the JCPenney web. Faxing us at 513-424-9732. Or for those of you that have email, contact us at news@WPFB.com. We are notified immediately when this type of information comes across cyberspace. Our commitment to bringing you the most complete news coverage along the Sydney corridor is foremost. We've made it easier for you, businesses, and others to participate. So there's no excuse now that your information can't get out on a timely and factual basis. We are the voice of the Sydney corridor. 910 WPFB.
910 WPFB forecast for the Mid-Miami Valley tonight. Mostly cloudy for early morning. Occasional showers and a chance of thunderstorms late. A low of 47. Thursday, occasional showers and thunderstorms. Breezy. A high of 58. Right now, it's 50. You get your local weather 4 times an hour, mornings and afternoons, from the voice of the Mid-Miami Valley, AM 910 WPFB.
You're listening to the Wrestling Guys on the station that's a part of your life, AM 910 WPFB.
Back on the Wrestling Guys, the voice of the Mid-Miami Valley, AM 910 WPFB. And once again, this is the Wrestling Guys 2002 Listener Awards. We're all decked out here in our tuxedos tonight. We have the red carpet outside. Tons of media out there clamoring, trying to get trying to get in here early. Let's stop that right there. All right, trying to get in a little bit early, trying to find out exactly who the winners are tonight. And our first category tonight will be the Local or Independent Wrestler of the Year. And first of all, let me just say that the number of nominations, the number of votes that we had sent in this year, and this is our 4th year of having the Wrestling Guys Listener Awards, the greatest response we've had in the 4 years we've done this. And there were probably around 26 to 27 different wrestlers who were nominated. Now, obviously, we had many more votes than that, but as far as the number of wrestlers who were nominated, around 27. Everybody from last year's winner, Ray Steele, 2-time winner Logan Kane was nominated, guys like Big Jim Hutchinson from OCW, Omega Mark Mattis from up in Columbus. We had nominations from Atlanta, Georgia, a guy by the name of Onyx, Chet Jablonski. One guy even voted for Brock Duffman. I think it may have been Brock Duffman himself, but one guy mentioned about Brock Duffman's tag team match that he had this year in the HWA and voted Brock Duffman as his choice for Wrestler of the Year. Obviously, that guy's been sent to get tested. There were even votes for some more nationally known wrestlers, maybe guys who you don't think of as independent stars, but guys like Shawn Waltman, who obviously now is an independent wrestler, AJ Styles, Steve Corino. Tag teams received votes like the Suicide Solution and the Island Boys, but there can only be one winner. And our nominations for the Wrestling Guys 2002 Listener Award, Local or Independent Wrestler of the Year, the nominations are Shark Boy, Cody Hawk, Big Daddy Rod Cox, Tommy Blaze, Matt Stryker, and the winner from the Heartland Wrestling Association, Matt Stryker, your winner.
This is Frank Farmer.
Thank you, Frank. I gotta think, what the hell is happening there? That just ruined Matt's thing, but Matt Stryker joins us now on the phone. How you doing, Matt?
Doing great, John. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Congratulations. You have been voted by the fans of the Wrestling Guys radio show and hotline as the 2002 local/independent wrestler of the year. It's kind of a nice little honor.
Oh, it's a great honor. I want to thank you and thank everyone out there listening who voted for me. That's great. It came as a surprise to me earlier today when I found out.
Let me give you, I'll read what a couple of people wrote about you so I can try and make you either cry or blush. You know what I want to be able to do here. This comes from a guy that goes by the name of Tricky Hop, Greg Gabbard. And he wrote in, let me see here, I am going to stick with the promotion that runs Dayton full-time, the group which is the best local promotion, and that undoubtedly is the HWA, and the best wrestler from the HWA, in my opinion, gets my vote, and that distinction goes to Matt Stryker. Another guy who voted for you, John Roby, said Stryker is a very hard worker, good person. He raised money by getting people to donate for his bail so he could get out of jail for charity. He captured the HWA title at the showcase. He wrestled for NWA TNA. He was ranked in the PWI 500 and currently one of the top talents on the rise. So some very kind words from a couple of our listeners voting for you as the Wrestler of the Year. Obviously, you don't do this to win Wrestler of the Year and those kind of awards, but certainly it's a nice cherry on top of the cake.
Oh, it sure is.
Or Sunday, whatever it is. No.
Sunday cake.
Whatever. You like the award. You like the award.
I love it. It's great.
Kind of recap the last year because obviously I think it was a roller coaster ride obviously for the HWA for you in a lot of different ways, but despite all the stuff that was happening outside the ring and the business side of things, you were able to have some tremendous matches this year. Which matches for you stand out and do you think helped earn you this award?
I think any match that I would have had with Chad Collier or Jamie Noble, even Shannon Moore, any one of those three guys helped me tremendously, as well as the veterans from the WWF who were down here for a long time, D-Lo, Val Venus, Steve Blackman, even Brian Adams, Haku. I mean, those guys just all were instrumental in just making me better than I was earlier on in the year. And as far as the year review for me, the only low point in this year was not being picked up by the WWE. Everything else has been great. You know, I had Super 8. I was 192 in the PWI 500, which is about 200 better than I was last year. I was voted one of the top Indy 30 wrestlers, and now to be the Independent Wrestler of the Year, I mean, it's a good thing years old. I don't think I could do it.
I was going to say, what are you going to do to top yourself for 2003?
Well, let's hope that you see me on a national level, hopefully with either TNA or WWE, something along those lines, or Ring of Honor even.
Now, I know you've got some plans for Ring of Honor, I think. Have you already worked there? You're getting ready to work there?
January 11th is my first day at Ring of Honor.
So I guess, the one downside, I guess, for maybe some people in this area, are you going to be looking now for more bookings outside of the area to try and get yourself to grow? Or are you still going to be a major part of the HWA? What?
I'll hope for a little bit of both. I still want to be a major part here in the HWA, but I want to get my name out there to anyone and everyone who's a wrestling fan. East Coast, West Coast, top of the stage, bottom of the stage, doesn't matter where.
Well, again, congratulations, and I always say that my votes don't count in this thing, but between you and me, you would have got my vote too. You've had a tremendous year. You've improved so much. Not that you weren't good to start off with, but the rise in your ability, I've seen it. A lot of other big people too, and that's why our listeners have named you the 2002 local/independent wrestler of the year. So congratulations going out to you. Best of luck in 2003. Have a good holiday.
Thank you, Shawn. Kind words. I appreciate it.
What's on your holiday list this year besides the WWE contract?
On the holiday list. Wow, that's
Come on, don't tell me you I know you went on, you said on Santa's lap. Come on.
Well, you got me there. You got me.
All right,
I'm dressed up as Santa on Santa's lap, though.
Well, that's a whole other story. I don't think. Family show, Stryker. Come on. Hey, best of luck to you. Tell everybody I said hi.
All right, thanks, son.
All right, Matt Stryker, the 2002 local/independent wrestler of the year, as voted on by you, the listeners of the Wrestling Guys radio show. And again, the top five came down to Shark Boy, Cody Hawks, Big Daddy Rod Cox, Tommy Blaze, and the number one vote getter for the independent/local wrestler of the year, Matt Stryker from the Heartland Wrestling Association. And again, when you take a look at the year Matt had, not only with the HWA, but also branching out wrestling in Florida and Illinois, getting ready to work for Ring of Honor, the Super 8, as he said, and the level of competition he took on this year, ranging from Dean Malenko to Jamie Noble to the Shark Boy, and the list goes on and on. So congratulations to a very good guy, Matt Stryker, the Wrestling Guys 2002 Local/Independent Wrestler of the Year.
Homeowners, have you been putting off painting your house? Good, you should, because with vinyl siding from Sears Home Services, you may never have to paint again. Call for a free
Guys, on the station that's a part of your life, AM 910 WPFB.
Welcome back to the Wrestling Guys radio show. My name is Shawn Stidham. Our toll-free number, 866-910-WPFB, 866-910-9732. As always, that is a toll-free call. And again, this isn't just any ordinary Wrestling Guys radio show. Yes, indeedy, boys and girls. This is the Wrestling Guys 2002 Listener Awards. We have already doled out one award tonight. You, the listeners, voted Matt Stryker from the HWA as the Best Local/Independent Wrestler of the Year. And thanks to Matt for coming on and accepting his award. I mentioned prior to the break that we've had so many wrestlers nominated for the Wrestler of the Year locally, or independent wrestler. And just to give you an idea, Cody Hawk, Shark Boy, Chad Collier, Logan Kane, Ray Steele, Matt Stryker, obviously, Sean Waltman, The Suicide Solution, DJ Whitmer, Onyx, Big Jim Hutchinson, Chris Hero, Mark Mattis, R.C. Haas, AJ Styles, Tommy Blaze, Big Daddy Rod Scott, Porno the Clown, Lance Cade, The Island Boys, Brock Guffman, seriously, Brock Guffman, Steve Carino, Jamie Noble, The Ice Cream Man, Tony B, Easy Money, and Chet the Jet Zabronsky. And again, just an overwhelming response this year to the Wrestling Guys 2002 Listener Awards. And I thank all of you for sending those in. If you want information, thewrestlingguys.com has information all the time as far as what we're up to, as far as the radio show and awards and guests and everything coming up. Again, this is our last live show of the year. We will next week have the Best of show. Next week, I believe we're going to run the Bruno Sammartino interview that we conducted earlier this year. We are going to run the upcoming live super interview. So if you missed those two interviews and you're sitting around after from Christmas or after New Year, and kind of recovering a little bit from the night before, sit back, listen to the Wrestling Guys, the Best of shows, and then we are back on Wednesday, January the 8th. We've got some big guests lined up for the month of January, so you do not want to miss that. And again, during the next couple of weeks, stay tuned to the Wrestling Guys hotline at 937-229-9329 or the Wrestling Guys website, wrestlingguys.com, and we will have information there as far as what is coming up here on the radio show and also on the hotline. Let's go ahead and dole out another award, shall we? Hold on. Here we go. All right, our next award is Tag Team of the Year. A number of you commented that the tag team division this year seemed very, very weak, very, very shallow, not a lot there. But we had a nomination for the Dudley Boys. They came in huge. I was surprised at how many votes we had for the Dudley Boys, given the fact that for the most part they weren't together this year. But a lot of you, your big Dudley Boys march, you came out for them. Other teams nominated: Y2J, Chris Jericho and Christian, Edge and Rey Mysterio, the Island Boys, the Spanish announce team. The Hurricanes got votes. Kane and Hurricane Helm received votes for Tank of the Year, which wouldn't have been my vote, but again, these are your awards, not mine, and also Billy and Chuck. But we come down to our three nominees for Tag Team of the Year, and they would be Eddie Guerrero and Chavo Guerrero, Los Guerreros, Chris and Juan Kurt Angle, Booker T and Goldust. And the winners, voted on by you, the fans, Booker T and Goldust. The 2002 Wrestling Guys Listener Award Tag Team of the Year goes to Booker T and Goldust. Goldust cannot join us this evening because he is getting married. So congratulations going out to Justin. He, I believe, is going to either he's getting married or he's honeymooning in Honolulu. So he's getting married, and congratulations going out to him and Booker T. Who would have thought, you think about the last year in professional wrestling, what a difference a year made. Who would have thought a year ago that we would be sitting here today and that Goldust would be an award winner? That is unbelievable to me. That Goldust is back. It's a great story. I mean, the guy, I tell you what, if you're ever going to get a divorce, Terry Runnels would be the best ex-wife you could have. Terry Runnels obviously used to be Dustin's wife, together initially as Goldust and Marlena. And then they went through a divorce. Dustin left the company. Terry then went to Vince McMahon and said, you know what? I've seen Dustin. He's in great shape. I think that maybe, he wants to make a comeback. I think that maybe, we ought to give him a chance. So that opened up the door. Goldust comes back at the Royal Rumble. Then you had the Flight from Hell, where you had Triple H and Brock Lesnar, Kurt Hennig, and you had Shawn Waltman cutting off Michael Hayes' mullet. And during that flight, you had a drunken Goldust singing love songs to his ex-wife, who's remarried, by the way. So that was a little bit awkward. At the time, it was thought that, Kurt Hennig lost his job out of that thing. It was thought that Goldust, who had not been back in the company very, very long, that he would probably lose his job. And quite honestly, had Terry went to the company and said, you know what, I really don't feel comfortable anymore with that guy here, he probably would have lost his job. But didn't happen. And now he is back, and he's part of a very, very successful tag team with Booker T. And the tag team of the year, Jake Simpkins. And we obviously had a number of nominations for Goldust and Booker T. He said, quote, putting them together really helped each one get over its singles. They have great chemistry. So, the Wrestling Guys 2002 Tag Team of the Year, as voted on by you, the wrestling fans, none other than Booker T and Goldust.
You can make your advertising dollars work for you. When you advertise with AM 910 WPFB, you're going to know...
Wrestling Guys, my name is Shawn Fitterman again. This is the Wrestling Guys 2002 Listener Awards. The pageantry, the fanfare, the red carpet. Tony's in a tuxedo, I'm in a tuxedo. Wally's in a sequin gown, but we won't go there. My name is Shawn Fitterman. Thanks for spending a part of your Wednesday evening with us as we wind down things here for the year 2002. Again, I mentioned it before the break about what a difference a year makes. 12 months ago, the WWE was the WWF, all the talk about the NWO coming in, and how long is that going to last? Is that 15 minutes? We had hope that the XWF, the World Wrestling All-Stars, would be able to rise as a second national promotion. Both of those failed, as obviously I think WWE is trying to make a comeback, but any hopes that they had, at least, becoming a national promotion of significance in 2002 didn't happen. You had, of course, the brawl at 30,000 feet between Kurt Hennig and Brock Lesnar, in which Triple H tried to stop it, and they all fell on the flight door. That could have been bad. You had Shawn Waltman versus Michael Hayes' mullet. Waltman won. You had The Rock becoming a certifiable movie star with the Scorpion King getting over $100 million this year. You had Vince Russo. How about that? Vince Russo returns to the WWE, quits the WWE the next day, is hired by NWA TNA as a writer, then fired, then rehired, but only as a talent. You had the HWA. You want to talk about a year of ups and downs. You had the HWA earlier in the year having tremendous success, drawing huge crowds, being a part of the WWE developmental system, bringing in so many names, guys like Rikishi and Val Venus and Shawn Waltman and Canyon and D'Lo Brown and Haku and Dean Malenko. And it was a tremendous time. And then you had in July the WWE going through some budget cuts and so many guys losing their jobs. Mike Sanders, Steve Bradley, and Easy Money, and this goes on and on and on. But the HWA came back. They hung in there. When the thing happened down in Memphis, when they lost their developmental deal, they folded. They gave up. And the HWA is still going strong. A tremendous year locally. You had OCW doing a very good job with the Creep Show a couple of weeks ago, drawing a lot of money. You had, who would have thought, in the Wrestler of the Year Award, the local Wrestler of the Year Award, Big Daddy Rod Cox. Now, UCW ran a very limited schedule this year, but Rod retired. I think his lasted maybe 5 minutes longer than Brock Dustin's did. But you had fans who, when they wrote in about Big Daddy Rod Cox, said, you know what, this maybe is last year. We respected what the guy has done, and we are going to give him our Wrestler of the Year Award. So there was a nice little push there by a number of fans trying to award Big Daddy Rod Cox the Wrestler of the Year. Lita, filming the season finale of Dark Angel, which actually turned out to be the season finale of Dark Angel, and suffering a fractured neck, almost losing her career because of that. And then the series got canceled. That's like rubbing salt in the wound. You had Messiah, independent wrestler Messiah, losing his thumb in a assault. Then, of course, you had the Katie Vick storyline, NHLA storyline. You had the Nicole Bass lawsuit. As we close out 2002, you have Shawn Waltman and China getting married. But maybe my favorite story of the year was Vader. You remember that? Big Van Vader. Baby Bull, Leon White, was arrested back, I think it was August, of drinking and driving, suspicion of spitting and threatening police officers, resisting arrest, careless driving, and leaving the scene of an accident. This after he crashed his SUV into a bush about a block from his home in Boulder, Colorado, suffered a cut on his head, and left the scene to go home. When the police went to his house, he said, after they said, you look like maybe you've been drinking a little bit. He said, I will and can kick all your asses. Let's fight. The officers then brought out their dogs, and Vader then began picking up rocks and throwing them at the dogs. And finally, it took the police officers 3 sets of handcuffs to be able to arrest him. And it was considered DUI. I always love the wacky stories of the year. I think that will go down. It's not an official category. I think you will make that the Wrestling Guys 2002 Story of the Year. Baby Bull Leon White versus the police dog. Very, very nice. Randy has a question. Randy, you're on the Wrestling Guys. AM 910 WPFB. What's up?
Hey, Shawn, how you doing tonight?
Good. What's up, man?
Well, just wanted to come on here and do a quick little plug for OCW on the 4th of January.
Okay.
And I think the show is called Rolling in 2003. We have 8 matches signed. You're going to see stars.
Hello?
CIA, a bunch of other people, Big Jim. And sorry, the phone keeps going out here, Shawn. But,
that's okay.
One of the questions I had for you, I know you're a big video game junkie.
Uh-huh.
I heard that they were actually coming out with a video game about backyard wrestling.
Yes, they are. The company is called Eidos, which is a very well-known video game company. They're the ones behind Tomb Raider and Lara Croft and those games. They are working on a backyard wrestling game, yeah.
What in the world do you think these people are thinking?
Well, I mean, honestly, if you take a look at, and I'm not a big fan of backyard wrestling, that, as many people listen to the show on the hotline know, but in video games right now is a hot topic, and games like Grand Theft Auto and, I'm trying to think some of the other, more mature video games out there, they garner a lot of attention, and I'm sure that these guys are thinking that, hey, we'll put out the backyard wrestling game, and we'll be on CNN because the parents will hate us, and it'll be the most wanted game of the holiday season.
Probably end up doing that, but I mean, everything's so stereotyped when you talk about stuff like that, because everybody automatically assumes, these are the guys with the baseball bats and the cheese graters and the barbed wire and the food processor and God only.
And you know what? Those will probably be in the video game. I mean, and the video game is probably going to sell a gazillion copies.
That's a scary thing to think of.
Honestly, that's not one I'm going to deal with. I'll be honest with you. I mean, we do a lot of giveaways. THQ has been great with us for the giveaways tonight. Acclaim and the Legends of Wrestling games and things like that. But when it comes to the backyard stuff, I'm staying away from it.
All right, Shawn. Well, just wanted to see those up and do a little free promo if you don't mind.
That's okay. You have a good holiday.
You too.
All right, take care. Bye-bye, Randy Kirby. Thank you very much for calling in. Are we ready for another award? I think we are. I think it's time for the Match of the Year award. Let me go get my music. Hold on one second. There we go. The Wrestling Guys 2002 Listener Awards Match of the Year. There were over 19 different matches that were sent in by you, the listeners, selected as Match of the Year. Now, it's no surprise, most of the matches had, most of the candidates that you wrote into Match of the Year had the names like Rob Van Dam and Chris Benoit, Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, from the hair versus hair battle between Kurt Angle and Edge, to the ladder match on Raw between Rob Van Dam and Eddie Guerrero, to the recent tag team battles on the SmackDown, for the SmackDown tag team belts. There was a number of matches sent in with those guys' names. There were also a number of nominations for Jerry Lynn and AJ Styles. Problem is, there were so many matches involving those guys that it really split the votes dramatically. One guy wrote in about Jerry Lynn and AJ Styles and just said, pick one, anyone. Take any of the matches they have in the NWA TNA, that can be your Match of the Year. As far as with Benoit, Van Dam, and those guys, like I said, you had all the different tag team battles. You had Benoit and Angle and Unforgiven. You had Rob Van Dam and Eddie Guerrero on Raw with the ladder match. So it really split the vote to the point that none of those guys are in the top 3 match of the year candidates as voted on by you, the fans, as surprising as it may be. So, let me play the music here again. I think I played my music a little bit earlier. There we go. Ready? Okay. Your nomination. Hulk Hogan versus The Rock at WrestleMania 18. Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker, Hell in a Cell. Shawn Michaels, Triple H in the street fight from SummerSlam. The winner is Shawn Michaels and Triple H at SummerSlam. Woo! There we go. Go to Peanut Gallery. Let me read to you what one of the listeners who voted for this said. And this comes from James FTV, simply the best. Match of the year was, no question in my mind what the match of the year was. Shawn Michaels and Triple H at SummerSlam. Shawn had been out for 4 years and came back and put on the match of the year. The icon is back. So Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and I think there can be no question going into that match, I don't think anybody had great expectations as far as what would come out of Shawn Michaels. He had been out for 4 years. We know about the back surgery. We thought that he would be not a shell of himself, but certainly not able to do the things that the Heartbreak Kid used to do that made himself a legend in this business. But yet, there was Shawn Michaels putting Hunter through a table, taking some tremendous bumps, and in the end, it was the precursor to Shawn Michaels making a full-time comeback in the WWE. He had a great match in the Elimination Chamber. He had another, not just as good a match as he had originally with Triple H, but a very solid match this last Sunday at the Armageddon pay-per-view. And now it looks like he'll take on Chris Jericho at the Royal Rumble. And then possibly what could be his final match will be at WrestleMania. By the way, there's rumors now that Goldberg is going to be at WrestleMania against The Rock. 866-910-WPFB, 866-910-9732. That is a toll-free call if you want to chime in on anything else as far as the Wrestling Guys 2002 Listener Awards go. So anyway, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to give out the Wrestler of the Year award. We're going to go through the awards that you made up, and as I said, it's tremendous, and we're going to dole out some prizes, including our grand prize, a Sony PlayStation 2 video game system, SmackDown Shut Your Mouth from THQ, and 6 WWE DVDs, plus other prizes as well when the Wrestling Guys return on the voice of the Mid-Miami Valley, AM 910 WPFB. Quarter AM 910 WPFB. Wait, that's the Mid-Miami Valley now. Okay, sorry. I just got docked $5. Anyway, this is the 2002 Wrestling Guys Listener Awards, and having a good time here tonight. In case you're just joining us, here's your scorecard so far. Your local independent wrestler of the year, Matt Stryker from the HWA. Your tag team of the year, Booker T and Goldust. Your match of the year was Shawn Michaels and Triple H from SummerSlam. And I want to get into some of the creative awards that you guys came up with. One of the fun things we always do with the Wrestling Guys Listener Awards, and I'm not just saying it to be facetious, these really are your awards. I have no input on these awards. I don't vote on them. Whatever you guys come up with is what we go with as far as the Wrestler of the Year and all the other awards. But one of the things I want you to do every year is kind of use your, do your noodle dance, and PDJ Auto Playhouse Disney, yes, I have 2 daughters, and figure out and come up with some creative awards. And maybe we're ripping off from PWI here a little bit when we do that, but hey. So kind of run down the list of some of the awards you guys came up with. FTB James had the Comeback of the Year, a tie between Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels, 2 guys that I've looked up to for many years. Would love to see them fight one last time before they call it a career. Let me see here. Good here. These next ones come from Brett Gabbard, Percy Hobbs. Wow, I could still be the NWA champion, but now I'm staring at the lights of bloody mess. Ken Shamrock after getting pounded the bomb by Tito Ortiz at UFC and after dropping the NWA World title and leaving TNA in favor of pursuing this fight. The number one reason why more people are now watching Turkish cooking shows than Raw on Monday night. Hunter Hearst Helmsley. The Wrestle Crap non-angle of the year, the necrophilia garbage. The oops, there goes TNA's chances of being a legitimate national contender, the unveiling of Vince Russo as an on-air character. Very nice. Let's see, Clickman, the Wish He Would Return to the Hotline Award, Willie F. The Never Do That Again Award, Triple H and the Dead Body. Greg Segda with the Rookie of the Year going to Brock Lesnar. No Goldberg streak. He was beaten by DQ by RVD the night after King of the Ring, but he won the King of the Ring and the world title in his rookie year. Best Asset, Stacy Keibler. I'll let you figure that out. Best New T-Shirt. The Best New T-Shirt award going to Chris Jericho and Fozzy. Amy. Greg's, what is Amy? Is Greg's sister? Greg's wife? I have no idea. She's in her own. Most overrated wrestler, Triple H. Most underrated wrestler, Booker T. Worst gimmick, the Hurricane. Need I say more? Matt Gilman, Mr. Big. The Steve Blackman Personality Award, Al Wilson. The 5 best moments of the year. Number 5, Maven takes out Undertaker at the Royal Rumble. Number 4, Hulk Hogan beats Triple H for the belt. Number 3, Rey Mysterio's entrance, anytime. Number 2, Kurt Angle goes bald thanks to Edge. Number 1, the NWO comes back and takes over the business, changing the face of the WWE forever. Well, it looked good on paper in 1997. Also, best move of the year goes to Billy Kidman, Shooting Star Press. Worst wrestler of the year, Jackie Gata, but her pictures in the Undressed magazine made up for that. And also, worst makeup of the year going to the fabulous Moolah. She never gets it right. The year-end awards from Ray West. Best Independent Federation, none. That's harsh. Jason Ellison, biggest shock of the year. A tie between Eric Bischoff becoming general manager of Raw and Stone Cold Steve Austin being taken off the active roster after no showing a second time. Tony Waite, whenever Hulk Hogan made the return to Reading, Yeller for him was the best wrestling moment. This is the next one from Kevin Barnett Barrett, the Bear Dog, and the No Award. It was a tie. The Katie Vick angle and the Vince Russo coming back to NWA TNA, that was there. Wildman Dave Diamond sent in his awards, and these are very good. The 2002 Worst Gimmick of the Year, Sean Waltman and Chyna's engagement. I don't think it's a gimmick. It's they're really in love. Can't we just accept that? The 2002, I'm not going to... The Financial Merit Award goes to NWA TNA. I'm not going to say who the award was named after. That's wrong. And the 2002, no, Dave, I'm not going to read this. Okay, I'm going to read it, but he's not the winner. The 2002 winner of the Sony PlayStation Award, Dave Diamond. Dave, you don't win the Sony PlayStation, but that's pretty funny still. Brian, L2K. The Betty Ford Clinic MVP Award goes to Jeff Hardy. This is from Joe Mama. The Worst Comb-Over Award goes to Paul Heyman. The Worst Actor in the WWE, Stephanie McMahon. Worst Wrestler, and I had a few people that sent this in. Worst Wrestler Award, a number of you said Crash Holly. I didn't know Crash was considered to be the worst wrestler, but geez. This next one from Brian Pointner, Brian, this is good. It's a little cool, but good. The Intervention Needed Award to Sean Waltman. Sean began the year as a member of the NWO, and then how did the rest of the year turn out? He had himself released from the WWE because he thought he was main event material. He was released from NWA TNA because he no-showed events, and then he announced he's going to marry Chyna. Congratulations to Sean. He really deserves this award, and oh, by the way, only women should perform the Bronco Buster. That's the rule. Also, from Brian, the Bruno Sammartino Why Was He Famous Award going to Hulk Hogan because people who started watching wrestling in the 80s only knew Bruno as the old guy with the cauliflower ears that tagged him with his midget son, David. People who started watching wrestling in the 2000s only know Hulk as the old guy with 2 moves who likes to pose after his matches. Don't you want to go out with some dignity like, oh wait, no wrestler ever goes out with dignity. While I'm on the subject, Ric Flair, please get your breasts lifted. Ric Flair, please get your breasts lifted. Very, very nice. Also, Tim Applegate with the Wrestling Guys Caller of the Year Award going to the Spanish Fly. Oh, wait, I thought this was 1999. Very, very nice. And again, we've had so many awards this year, so many nominations. And again, thank you for your feedback and this. And now it is time for the Wrestling Guys Wrestler of the Year Award. And again, the first time we've done this, and it's the first time that we've ever had a 2-time winner. Now, the 3 winners previously, Triple H, Kurt Angle, and Rob Van Dam. Now, the others in the top 5 this year were Brock Lesnar and Edge. But as I already said, in the first time in the 4-year history of the Wrestling Guys 2002 Listener Awards, we are going to have a 2-time winner. So, again, your top nominees. Triple H, Rob Van Dam, Kurt Angle, and you voted the Wrestler of the Year, Rob Van Dam. And my question to you is why? I understand Rob Van Dam is incredibly popular, but can you really say that Rob Van Dam had a better year than Edge, than Brock Lesnar, than Triple H? Maybe you can. I can't. Again, I said these are your awards. I will go with whatever it is you said. Tony, come on in here now. I will go with it with whatever you say, but, you know, I like Rob Van Dam. You've been on the show a few times. The rest, probably not. But you, the fans, vote Rob Van Dam the 2002 Wrestler of the Year, so I bow to you. I will go to you on this. So again, recapping the award. RVD, Wrestler of the Year. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Match of the Year from SummerSlam. You've got Matt Stryker, local/independent Wrestler of the Year. And then you also have, what else you got here? You've got Hello Tag Team of the Year, Booker T, and Goldust. And Tony's going to come in here in a minute. And let's go ahead and start rolling out some of these awards and some of the prizes we have. And again, I want to thank our friends at THQ for helping us out this year, and as they have for so long, and in giving out the WWE video games and the DVDs. They do a tremendous job, and we really appreciate the partnership with the Wrestling Guys radio show. And again, don't forget, this is the last live show of the year. We are back January 8th. The next 2 weeks, we're going to have Best of the Show. Tony's in the studio now. How you doing, Tony? I'm doing fine. We got your mic on, so it's okay. Tony always answers the phone. He never gets to say anything on the radio, but we're going to go ahead and let him. And Tony, what do you want to give away first over there? Let's start from that. Let's go to some of the DVDs. Pull up the DVDs, and we're going to pull these out at random. First DVD is what? Pick one. Hurry up here. There's a reason all inside. The Rock. It's a 2-disc special edition, and it's a list, and will be Jason Burnett from Kettering, Ohio, with the Rock DVD, so we'll get that put out for you. We also got a Global Warning DVD. That's our next one, Global Warning, full out entry. That will go to James Cage. Look for the best. There you go. That over there. Thank you very much. Another winner tonight on the Wrestling Guys 2002 Listener Award. What's the next DVD we have? We got King of the Ring. King of the Ring. Look for Candy Butler from Miamisburg. She will get a DVD courtesy of the Wrestling Guys. Next one is the Triple H. Triple H Big Game, and that is also from our friends at WWE Home Video, and this will go to Bubba Hart. I don't know if that was his birth name or not, but Bubba Hart, you know, a guy named Bubba Hart, I think, could kick your ass, Tony. I wouldn't laugh at that.
You said I was laughing.
Okay, that's fine. Start some of the stuff we got down there. We got some Unforgiven the Unforgiven long sleeve shirt as well as a mouse pad. First one will go to Agnes Turner. Agnes will get an Unforgiven pass. Thank you very much for playing the Wrestling Guys 2002 Listener Award. What else we got here? We will grab that. That is the $50 WWE Black Sleeveless Sleeve. Very, very cool prize. That will go to Greg Stegda. You know what? Normally I wouldn't give Greg anything sleeveless because I've seen his arms, but he wins for Greg's long-time listener. So Greg, congratulations. Happy holidays to you. We got another prize back there. Pull this up. Footman is going to get a prize back. The Unforgiven prize back. And it has Corey Wilson on it. The Footman, that'll help one of the holidays, I'm sure. What else you got over there? Another Unforgiven prize back. This will go to Joe, the Incredible Sausage. Joe is going to get the prize, get the Unforgiven prize back. You like that there? Let's see. We got the WrestleMania Road to WrestleMania X8 game for the Game Boy Advance. That will go to Devin. Is going to win that. And what else you got over there? We got a copy of Raw for the PC from THQ, and that is going to go to. Let's pull out another one here. And that will go to Matt Dillman is going to win that. And our grand prize. Let me get the music back up here. Hold on one second. We've got to get this. I know we're running late. I know that. We're going to try and wrap this thing up. And let's give away the big one here. You ready for this? Here we go. And All right, the grand prize. The Sony PlayStation 2 video game system, 6 WWE DVDs, and a copy of SmackDown Shut Your Mouth from THQ. And again, our thanks to our good friends at THQ. Thank you very much, because they've been a tremendous hero this year with all the video games we've been able to give away. And SmackDown Shut Your Mouth is a tremendous video game. If you do not win this game tonight, then by all means, you need to go out and you need to buy a PlayStation 2 and buy this game. It is a tremendous game. And let's go ahead here. And our grand prize winner of the Sony PlayStation 2. Can you do a drum roll? Can you do that? Okay, no, you're not very good. I appreciate the episode. Thank you very much. And
Still play the music.
go ahead. You got to draw one here. Go ahead and draw one. You got that? So what's the name on there, Tony? Tell me if I'm going to read. Hold on. What's the email? Brian? Is that Brian? Brian Pointner, Mount Orab, Ohio. Brian wins the grand prize, Sony PlayStation 2, 6 WWE DVDs, and a copy of SmackDown Shut Your Mouth from THQ. I am running tremendously late. My thanks to all of you for being a part of the Wrestling Guys 2002 Listener Awards. Enjoy the next 2 weeks of the best of episodes. Tony, have a good holiday season, and I will see you in January the 8th. Later. Bye.
To the voice of the Sunday Corridor, AM 910 WPFB, Middletown, Kettering.
Do you know where your news is?
On 910 WPFB.
It's 7 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Kevin Sinclair, 910 WPFB News. Middletown City Council has finally approved the revision of the bed tax. It took months to do, but Council approved language in the effect of the legislation that will have the Middletown Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Terrific Wednesday to you. Welcome to another edition of the Wrestling Guys, AM 910 WPFB. My name is Shawn. How you doing? We got a big show for you tonight. A lot to talk about. The return. When is it going to happen? Stone Cold Steve Austin. Your thoughts on that? Also, we have thoughts on the situation involving The Rock, and I want to get your take on that as well. Plus, an interview with Perry Saturn, and your phone calls, as always, 866-910-WPFB, 866-910-9732. That is a toll-free call. Joining me for the first part of the program, my partner on the Wrestling Guys hotline. You read his columns at TWMPnews.com and TWTorch.com, and anybody else that is willing to have him. BJ Bethel, how you doing, man?
Pretty good, man. How you doing? Yourself?
Doing really well. Let's recap a couple of news stories and then get right into our debate with The Rock. We were talking about this earlier today, and I'm like, let's just do this on the radio tonight.
Yeah.
Because, why waste it? Why waste it between you and I? We'll share our conversation because we know that is what the listening audience wants to hear.
They want to hear us talk.
Absolutely. Why not? Anyway, a couple of quick news stories. Raw this past Monday up to a 4.1. I think that can be directly attributed to the anticipation of the return of the Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Absolutely. Steve Austin, I think he's been very, very missed over the past year, and I think it was reflected in this rating. I think the most interesting part of this is the fact that Bischoff basically announced him coming back at No Way Out. Didn't make any promises of him showing up beforehand, yet the interest level was enough to bring back almost a full point in the ratings for WWF. It really shows how much the fans miss Steve Austin.
NWA Total Nonstop Action tonight will feature Ron the Truth Killings against Mike Sanders. Jerry Lynn will take on David Flair. More on the situation between Jeff Jarrett and Raven. And how about this, boys and girls? The return of Tony Schiavone.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. You can cut the anticipation with a knife. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, and they also, according to Dave Meltzer, Wrestling Observer, they have another surprise. So tune in to NWA Total Nonstop Action tonight, 8 o'clock. Check your cable and satellite pay-per-view provider for details on how you can order that. Matt Hardy should be out for the next couple of weeks thanks to an MCL sprain. He suffered that Monday night in Milwaukee in a house show against Nathan Jones when Jones botched the spot. By the way, did you catch the story about Nathan Jones and his steroid abuse?
Yes, I did.
Now, for those of you in the listening audience, please understand this story is too good for me not to tell. But I understand we're in the dinner hour. You might want to either turn away for a couple of minutes, turn the radio down, or put aside the Big Mac McDonald's is sponsored on it. Anyway, your
If you
hamburger.
have a milkshake, you'll really want to put it away.
Now, you see, you're blowing the story. Here we go. According to the Australia, was it Courier?
I believe so.
Or whatever, the big newspaper in Australia. They had a profile on Nathan Jones and talking about his past. And Nathan Jones is the guy who's been, you've seen promos for him lately on Raw and SmackDown, how he's a former prison inmate, and he spent 8 years in prison in Australia for, I believe it was armed robbery?
Yeah.
Something like that. And Nathan Jones has a history of steroid abuse. At one point, his arms were 50 centimeters in diameter, which is amazing. But according to the article, back in 1989, Nathan Jones had to have a mammary gland removed from his left breast because it began producing milk.
Yeah.
Now, I'm thinking to myself, first of all, why didn't you go with a milkman gimmick? I don't think Jake Milliman has the copyright on that. And given the fact that the WWE right now loves sick humor, I mean, we've seen things in the past when Terry Funk would win a match, he would brand the guy. When Jake Roberts won a match, he would drop the python over his opponent. What about, if Nathan Jones just starts squirting milk into his opponent's eye?
Oh, God.
That would be great.
That would be, I'd say it'd be a very original heel tactic.
I think somebody's missing out on this.
All I know is this is just one of those stories that just seems to only happen in the world of professional wrestling.
Absolutely. That's one of the reasons we love it. Again, our toll-free number, 866-910-WPFB, 866-910-9732. What we were talking about earlier today, BJ Bethel and myself, is the fact that The Rock is right now getting a lot of backlash. We know The Rock is coming back. It's very well documented. The Rock is going to be a heel when he returns. More than likely, he will be battling Hulk Hogan at the February No Way Out pay-per-view. But a lot of fans are upset with The Rock, not because he's a heel, but they feel like that The Rock has turned his back on wrestling. And we talked about this with Jerry Lawler a couple of weeks ago, and he kind of had the opinion I did that that's bull crap, because The Rock, granted, he's moving on to movies, and for some people they're going, well, wrestling made him. He needs to stay in wrestling. Well, what else does the guy need to accomplish? Headlining WrestleMania, what, 3 times, 4 times? Check. Won the WWE title. All of them.
5 times.
Won the WCW title when that was around. Check. The guy has nothing left to accomplish, and when you have the opportunity, because in this country, movie stars, I think, are held at the highest level of celebrity.
I'd have to agree with that.
Because, athletes get backlash all the time whenever they sign a big contract. If King Griffey Jr. signs a $10 million a year contract, people are up in arms. Yet, if Jim Carrey gets $20 million for a movie, nobody says a word because movie stars are held at that high of a level. And if you have the opportunity to move from being a wrestler to a movie star, and again, consider the fact the guy has accomplished everything there is to do in wrestling, with the exception of making the big comeback. And obviously, to make the big comeback, you've got to leave for a little while.
Exactly.
And I see no problem with The Rock leaving to pursue movies.
I don't either, and I think that fans need to understand something here. For him, the money he's making in Hollywood would have to take it would take him a total of 3 years in the WWF, drawing at his highest levels ever to make what he would make for like the Scorpion King, a $10 or $20 million payoff. And I think that's just an opportunity you can't pass up. And I think if people want to look at this as something as him turning his back on wrestling, I think a lot of the criticism on that, if anybody's going to be blamed for that, other than the fact that he has a kind of an ambition to be a movie star, if you want to say put the wrestling thing into the play of things here, I think Vince McMahon deserves to be blamed for that. Just based on the fact the political situations in the company, I think are a lot of the reasons why he is spending so much time in Hollywood.
And you got to wonder if it was such a big deal for Vince McMahon. We've heard the story lately about how Vince McMahon Sr. stopped Hulk Hogan, didn't want Hulk Hogan to make Rocky III, told Hulk, if you want to make the movie, you're not going to work here. Hogan made the movie, and eventually I think Hogan was proven out to be the right guy in that argument. But Vince McMahon gave The Rock the blessing to go do the movie. The Rock did a very good job. The Scorpion King was a huge success, so now he's getting all these offers. According to various reports, there was a report that circulated last week, courtesy of the Chatterbox newsletter and OneWrestling.com. Georgianne, a guy by the name of Jake T. Icon, who writes for that newsletter, had a conversation with The Rock, where The Rock said that he has purchased the name The Rock from Vince McMahon, so he no longer owes Vince McMahon anything. He no longer is held to to a responsibility to come back whenever Vince snaps the fingers to work in the WWE. I have no idea how much he paid for that, but I'm sure that he probably needs the $5 million a year per movie to make up that fee.
Yeah.
He also said that after he's done with these next couple of pay-per-views, he's going to leave wrestling because he is getting so many movie script offers right now that he wants to devote his time to that, and down the road when the movie offers stop coming in or he gets some time on his hands, then he would like to come back to wrestling. The Rock's a third-generation guy. Wrestling's in his blood. I think he'll always have an appreciation for it, and I don't think you're going to see him leave to go to TNA anytime soon. I think he will be loyal to the WWE, but I can't see anybody who's complaining, anybody who's criticizing The Rock for this. If they were in his Brahma Bull boots, they would do the exact same thing.
I think so, too. I think if maybe there was something publicly going on where he was trying to hold up the WWF for more money to bring him back since he went to Hollywood and became a star, but I think clearly that's not the case. Last year, he showed up out of nowhere on a Monday night after Austin had walked out of the company when Vince needed him the most, and I think he laid down and did a job for the next big star. And I think those are all factors to take into consideration. I think anybody who believes that The Rock's turning his back on the wrestling business is just crazy. This guy's done way more good for it than he has. Than he's taken out of it, I should say. And I think anybody who believes that's for it.
And the other thing, too, I think The Rock understands right now that the WWE needs him, and more than likely, he probably doesn't want to do this.
Probably not.
I mean, the one thing you've heard from various reports is that he does like the idea of coming back and facing Goldberg because it would be a new challenge. He's battled Hogan, he's battled Triple H, he's battled Austin, he's battled Angle, he's battled Jericho, but Goldberg would be a new chapter, it'd be something fresh. And I think that is what is appealing to him, but I think he also understands, look, even if the Goldberg thing falls through, he'll come back, he'll face Hogan at No Way Out, more than likely he'll face Austin at WrestleMania, and then he'll go finish doing Walking Tall of all films. How does The Rock, changing focus here just a second, how does The Rock, a guy of African-American and Polynesian descent, get the role of a white redneck from the South?
I don't know. I'm waiting for Smokey and the Bandit 4 starting The Rock as Buford T. Justice.
My God! His name's Buford in this movie. I mean, The Rock's not...
That was, I will say, it was one of the oddest casting calls I've ever seen in my life. And when that came out, that was something that really shocked me.
DJ Bethel joining me on the Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB. So we want to get your thoughts on that. 866-910 WPFB, 866-910-9732. As always, that is a toll-free call. BJ, real quick, give me your thoughts on the recent cuts from the WWE. Last week, Raven and Just Incredible. This week, Bull Buchanan. And rumor is that there may be more cuts down the line.
Bull Buchanan, basically, he didn't really have any outgoing charisma. He wasn't really shaking anybody up in the company. They weren't looking at him and saying, this is the guy we got to do this with. I think they're wanting to get as much new blood and as many new faces as possible on TV, and they're doing that. They have to take people out. I think, obviously, people who spent a lot of time down at OVW, I think they figured they were finished with him, which is why he's gone. Just Incredible, on the other hand, he's had some personal problems. Let's just say he's been hanging out with Jeff Hardy an awful lot. He's let himself get out of shape a little bit. He's also been pouting a bit backstage. This was a guy who was Paul Heyman's personal pet project for 3 years in ECW. Didn't get that kind of respect in WWF. He came in, didn't really have the kind of look that they liked, didn't really have the kind of ability that they looked for in somebody his size. He wrestled a very ground-based style. And when you're doing that and you're around 200, 220 pounds, you're not going to be that effective in getting over the crowd. They want to see guys that size fly around. Raven, on the other hand, management didn't really like him too well. On top of that, Johnny's getting a little bit older. He's pushing 40 now. I don't think they really knew what to do with the kind of character he had either. It's something different. The WWF didn't really seem to know what to do too much with him. And on top of that, he just didn't have a lot of buddies on the writing team. He had the wrong friends, let's just say.
Well, two things with Raven. First of all, you talk to guys who worked with him when he was here in the area working with the HWA and working in the developmental territory. And the guy has an incredible original mind to the business. Yeah. And he comes up with some great ideas. And I think that if TNA, who he's working for now, can tap into that and use some of that creativity, which is a little bit cutting edge. I mean, let's face it, he came out from the Todd Gordon, Paul Heyman school of thought a little bit. I think that could really benefit TNA and help their product down the road. The other thing with Raven, I know he was upset last year whenever everything was happening in Toronto with the hype of WrestleMania, and all the superstars were up there, with the exception of Raven and Just Incredible and a few others who were stuck down here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think a lot of that just has to do with the fact that he came in. People need to remember something. Paul Heyman once accused Raven of having a 1 year long frat party on his bill, as to say.
Right.
When his last year in ECW, I think he rubbed Heyman the wrong way, and I think coming into the company like that, because people got to remember, Raven actually went to the WWF before Heyman was there. Raven actually got a bit of a push when he showed up there. Heyman then came in, and then things kind of dried up for him. I think there's some real tension between those two, and I think that had a lot to do with the reasons why he was let go.
Interesting point. BJ Bethel, you can hear him weekends on the Wrestling Guys hotline, 937-229-9229. BJ, where can the listener read you now? What's your next column, next article? Where is it?
My next column? Let's see.
Pick one, anyone.
Pro Wrestling Torch.
TWGWS.com.
Yes.
Okay, what's it going to be on? Give me something here. I'm trying to help me help you, BJ.
All right, I'm actually going to do, this is what I'm doing from now on. I'm going to start adding non-wrestling stuff to my column. Because basically, I'm sick of the state of the business. I'm sick of being depressed and having to slam everything all the time. I'm sick of people accusing me of being bitter. I don't think that's true. So
you don't sound bitter to me at all.
No.
You sound like a happy-go-lucky kind of guy.
Yeah, well, I'm doing the top 10 redneck characters in movie history.
Buford number one?
Yes, Buford's number one. That's why his name pops up in my mind.
All right. BJ Bethel, join us on the Wrestling Guys. BJ, take care tonight. Thank you very much for stopping in.
See you later, man.
All right, later. We're going to take a break. More. We come back on the Wrestling Guys, the voice of the Mid-Miami Valley, AM 910, WPFB.
How do I coach an athlete to swim like a fish?
How do I coach an athlete to run like a loon?
And how do I give that athlete an unbending will to succeed? I do it with dedication.
In training.
And pride. Because our athletes are Special Olympics athletes. They are children and adults in New York.
Welcome back. My name is Shawn Stidham. Our toll-free number is 866-910-WPFB, 866-910-9732. At the bottom of the hour, Perry Saturn will join us. Perry is getting ready to work for the World Wrestling All-Stars. Actually already worked there, but they're going to be showing the tour on pay-per-view on February the 9th. He will stop in and talk with us about that. Our toll-free number again, 866-910-WPFB, 866-910-9732. Get you updated on the upcoming independent shows, and there is a ton of them this weekend. Kicking off Friday night at Torrey Station in Fairfield, it's going to be Worldwide Wrestling with a show headlined by Shark Boy and Larry Zbyszko. Details available at worldwidewrestling.net. Then the next show will be on Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock in Dayton at the Olive Road Flea Market, or Complex, whatever it is. It's Olive Road Flea Market. I think it's off of 35. Unified Championship Wrestling will have a show that is absolutely free. And not sure everybody on that show, but I'll try and get that updated for you by the end of the broadcast. Also then, Saturday night, two options for you. You can go down to Cincinnati at the Red Barn in Batavia and check out the Heartland Wrestling Association with Jet Jablonski and a grudge match against Matt Stryker, not the A Squad, but Brock Duffman, and everybody else with the HWA will be down there. Ray Steele, Cody Hawk, and every HWA superstar will be there. Also, Saturday night, you've got Outlaw Championship Wrestling, and they are at the John Bryan Community Center in Yellow Springs, Ohio. And if you want details on either of those two shows, go to our website, thewrestlingguys.com, go to the links section, and you will find links to those two organizations and so much more right there at thewrestlingguys.com. You know, it's amazing sometimes how the WWE they want to try and protect the business now. They went to this new way of thought of they're trying to put the genie back in the bottle. They spent the last decade telling everybody, the matches are predetermined, and we all really get along behind the scenes, blah blah blah. And now they went to this thing where they go to a media blackout. They're very protective of their wrestlers and who they talk to, and they don't want to reveal too much. And Triple H is upset over the Tough Enough shows. He feels like they've exposed too much of the business, and the Confidential show is a bad thing. And then they do some incredible bonehead maneuvers, like the next one. A lot of you, I'm sure, have seen Triple H's new group on Monday night, which is based on the Four Horsemen. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to eventually adopt the Horseman name, but in any case, that's the general idea. Triple H will be in the Ric Flair role. Ric Flair will play the old J.J. Dillon role. And then you have Randy Orton. And at this point, I'm trying to draw a blank here. Batista, thank you very much. Batista, Randy Orton, and Triple H right now, along with Ric Flair as their manager. Which would lead to the question, who is going to be the fourth horseman? Let's just use the term horseman for now. We're not sure if that's what they're going to do. But in any case, the talk going around was that it may be Rhino. Rhino, of course, has been out for nearly a year now with a neck injury, and he's due to come back any day. He's been down in OVW in Louisville rehabbing that, and so that was kind of the general thought, but nobody really knew for sure. Well, luckily now, the shadow of doubt has now been lifted because They are having a house show. Let me get the exact city here. I don't want to butcher this one, too. They are having a house show in the Huntington-Charleston area on February the 16th at the Big Sandy Superstore Arena. What the heck is the Big Sandy Superstore? I have no idea what the Big Sandy Superstore is. It's in West Virginia, and it must be big because they have their own arena. They named it anyway. One of the matches listed is a tag team match, Rob Van Dam and Kane teaming up to take on Batista and Rhino. So those of you that listen to this show, now you can go to somebody who you work with who did not listen and say, you know what, I bet Rhino is going to be part of this Triple H group. No, Rhino's not going to do that. I bet you $20. You can pocket some money that way, and of course if you do that, and because of what you've heard here, then please send me my 10%. 866-910-WPFB, 866-910-9732. When we come back, Perry Saturn will join us on the Wrestling Guys on the voice of the Mid-Miami Valley, AM 910 WPFB.
This is Frank Farmer Loomis, your aunt.
And now back to the Wrestling Guys on the station that's a part of your life, AM 910 WPFB.
Welcome back to the Wrestling Guys, AM 910 WPFB. My name is Shawn Stidham. Joining me on the line right now. You will see him on the upcoming WWA pay-per-view in a three-way dance battling Simon Diamond and Sabu. He is Perry Saturn. Perry, welcome to the Wrestling Guys. How are you?
Good. How you doing, man?
Doing really well. I got to ask you, you're from Cleveland. Are you a Browns fan?
Yeah, you know what, though? I work so much that it's really hard to keep up with football and stuff, you know? So I'm glad to see they got William Green there, you know?
I didn't know how much of a football fan you were, if you had a chance to watch the Super Bowl Sunday or not.
Yeah, I did watch it. Like, I've been home now, so I watch it. Just usually when we're wrestling, you know, we're gone all the time. You never get to see it. I'm a Patriots fan, too, you know, and I watch them as much as it's just hard, you know, and I live in Atlanta now, so I don't get very many Browns games or Patriots games.
Perry Saturn joining us on the Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB. Perry, obviously the last couple of months has been a little bit of a roller coaster for you. You had the injury, and then looks like you're coming back, and then you were released by the WWE. Give us a little bit of background as far as why did you think you were released from the company?
Well, I don't know. We were supposed to do something. It didn't work out of sight, out of mind. They're trimming their budget as much as they can. Never really did anything with me anyway, so it wasn't like I was a loss there, you know.
And, you know, and recently, of course, last week or 2 weeks ago, Raven and Just Incredible were released. I think at the same time you were cut, Godfather was as well. There's a lot of really good talent now that's out there. Are you hoping that, whether it be NWA, TNA, or somebody else, another national company gets started and picks you guys up?
Well, I'm all set. I don't need to be picked up. I hope for the other guys, you know. It's up for guys to be out of work. I have a job, you know, a full-time job. I don't need one. You know, I'll be wrestling with New Japan. So I'm lucky, I'm fortunate to have that. But for the other guys, and for the business in general, you know, because the Great House sucks because there's no competition and they're just not producing a good product.
Perry Saturn joining us on the Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB. Perry, let me ask you, because I know that obviously the security of the WWE paycheck has to be nice, but at some point, if you're not being used in a high-level capacity, at some point do you say, you know what, I'd rather work and enjoy what I'm doing more so than getting the paycheck every 2 weeks?
I think every individual is different. Me personally, I'm a realist, and I'll take the pay.
There was some talk on the internet that you had turned down a contract extension. Was that true at all? And if that's true?
Some truth, and it wasn't. They wanted to restructure my contract, and I didn't want to restructure it.
Is it something now that you wish you had done?
No,
or?
Absolutely not. No, I was not doing it, and I wouldn't have. There's no way that I would have done it.
Perry Saturn joining us on the Wrestling Guys. Now with Raven let go, are any chance that the Flock may be getting back together? I know a lot of people would like to see that team back.
I don't think so, because I'll be working in Japan, and I think Raven's going to be working for Jeff, you know, in the TNA, and who else? I don't know where. You know. The Flock's probably outdated, too. That's another thing that never really got its full run, you know. They should have done a little better with that. They did all right with it, but it should have got a better spot than what it did. Because during the time, that was a very trendy gimmick going on, you know.
Perry, this is what, your 13th year in the business?
Been around there, yeah.
And you started off training with Killer Kowalski, correct?
Yes.
So many people coming out of that school, yourself, obviously, and China and Triple H and so many others. Can you describe what Killer was like as an instructor and trainer?
For each one of us, too, it's probably different because it's a different time period as the age, you know. Me and Hunter had him at the best time when he actually got in the ring and worked with you and was very knowledgeable, you know. So he's not a young man anymore, so I don't feel that he can probably give you the best that he could at one time, you know.
Is it true when you first got there that he said you were too small?
Yes, correct. I was the first smaller guy that he took. I only weighed about 190 pounds. He didn't take anybody under like 220, and it took me like a couple months on the phone to convince him to take me.
Do you find it amazing now that, 13 years ago at 190 you were too small, yet today you have guys like Rey Mysterio and Jamie Noble and so many of the cruiserweights who are lucky if they reach 200 ever, who are considered, some of the best superstars in the business?
I guess it's just how the business evolved, For a long time, the big man always kept the small man out, all the left-handed comments like you're a good little worker and stuff like that, It's just the people finally got, I think WCW changed that when they started bringing in the luchadors, and the people got to see a different style of wrestling and got to see more action, which is more entertaining.
Could you see yourself down the road once your in-ring career is over, maybe opening up your own school or doing some kind of instruction?
I don't know. We'll see. I haven't got there yet. We'll see.
All doors are open.
Yeah, I haven't really decided that yet, I still got a couple years left of wrestling, I think.
I'm not trying to push you out the door yet. Just always looking down the road, I guess, a little bit to see what's down there. Now, talk a little bit about the World Wrestling All-Stars. We're coming back this year. The Retribution pay-per-view is happening on February the 9th. This was obviously a large tour for the company. But this is where you had the three-way with Simon Diamond and Sabu, right?
Yeah, you had Sting was on the show, and Sting always puts 100% in it. He's one of the guys that is like what's good about the business. He always works hard, and he just, cares about them. So just for the people to see Sting alone, it's worth paying to see it, Of course, there's a lot of other good matches on there, but I mean, just like Sting, the way he carries himself, the way he acts on the fans and stuff, just that alone is worth seeing it,
This was the first time, I think, in a long time when you worked on this tour that you'd worked with some of your former WCW friends like Sting and Lex Luger and Conan. What was it like working with these guys again?
It was just like I just putting on an old pair of shoes. We all know each other and stuff. And right away, it's immediately you get together and start goofing around, And this was the first time I worked since I had my knee surgery,
And how are you health-wise?
I'm healthiest I've been in years. I've had a lot of time off, But a lot of time to heal.
But let's be honest with you. It's never really mattered how you felt. I mean, you've wrestled before with a blown-out ACL.
Yeah.
So your tolerance is a little bit different than anybody else's.
For a year in the WWF, I had 2 broken bones in my back, and they injected me with lidocaine and Toradol in my back so I could work. I couldn't even stand up, and they were doing that 4 nights a week.
Amazing.
So it's just, but I'm healthy, and so that affects how you work no matter what, If you're hurt, and you cannot work the same as you can when you're healthy.
One other guy I have to ask about on the WWE pay-per-view because he lives locally here, and if I don't bring up his name, he'll razz me for it, and that's Shark Boy. So what can you say positive about Shark Boy, if anything?
Well, he has a great attitude. He works very hard. He has good matches, and the people love him over there.
That's all that counts, right?
They love his character.
Yeah, he gets over it.
His costume looks like something that his mother put together for him, but the people love it.
Perry Saturn joining us on the Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB. Perry, when you look back overall, the WCW and the WWE experience, do you think of it as a positive, or were there things that obviously you wish had went differently?
No, I don't regret anything. I've been very lucky. I've worked everywhere when they were number one. I've made a lot of money over the years. I have no complaints about anything.
Even wearing the dress, you didn't have a problem with that?
No, it was, once you learn that it's entertainment, and you're trying to make the people enjoy themselves, it really doesn't matter what you do as long as they're having fun. And once you learn that, which is the hardest part of the business to learn, is that you're there to entertain the people. Once you learn that, then your job is easy,
Gotcha. Perry Saturn joining us on the Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB. Perry, appreciate the time you've taken with us tonight. I want to ask you about a couple of other things. One incident that happened at WWE, which got a lot of play on the internet, was the incident you had with I don't want to call him a preliminary wrestler, but a wrestler who you were accused of not taking care of or whatever. Bob Holly recently obviously got a lot of heat over what he did with the training on Tough Enough 3. Can you relate to what Bob is going through as far as the heat on the internet he's getting?
The internet, I don't care what the people say on the internet. Yeah, and I had a little heat at the office at the time. That's all that matters. Who cares what the people say on the internet? And it was blown out of proportion. It was with Mike Bell, and by mistake, whatever happened, he put me on my head back to back, and it like knocked me out. I was out on my feet. And by the time I realized what I was doing, I was kicking and punching him. But I was out, and then once I calmed down, right after the match, me and Mike were fine. And actually, the next day, I had to go home. My neck was messed up. I had to go home. I was hurt, you know.
Right.
But he took a bad bump out of the ring, which was after everything, you know. And he might have taken the bad bump because maybe he was dazed. But I was still, like on Dream Street, I really didn't have my head together, and I just threw him out the ring so I could calm down. And he just took a bad bump, you know, and that's where all the heat was, the bump he took out of the ring, not me punching and kicking him. Which, at that point, once I was done punching and kicking, it was all over, once I realized what I was doing, you know, and it was just an unfortunate thing that happened. And I don't begrudge Mike for anything. I don't think he does me either. Just stuff like that happens, you know. But something happened with our timing on his arm drag and our hip toss. I don't know what it was. Might have been my fault. It might have been his fault. I have no idea. But I just went right on top of my head, and the second time, I blacked out. And by the time I came to, I had him in a corner, kneeing him.
Is that something you felt like that has changed with the business? Maybe it's because of the internet. It's things that used to happen in the locker room, things like the Mike Bell situation, which I'm sure has happened hundreds, if not thousands of times over the history of wrestling. Yet when it happened this one time, it steamrolled into a situation which, 15, 20 years ago would have been considered no big deal.
Well, I still think it's a big deal because the internet percentage is about 5% of the fans, so that's a small percentage. So who cares what that 5% thinks?
Is it too much, you think, focus on what the internet thinks?
No, I don't think so. I talked to JR wasn't there that week. A week later, I talked to JR and everything was fine. I told him what happened. He understood. Stuff like that happened. Mike Bell was fine. Everything was fine. The next day, everybody was freaked out because it looked like I just went berserk for no reason. But once everybody knew what was going on, it was fine, you know.
Gotcha.
Stuff like that happens, you know.
Exactly.
It's not ballet.
Perry Saturn joining us on the Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB. Perry, let's tell the fans, obviously the WWA pay-per-view is where they can see you on pay-per-view next, but after that, where can fans catch up with you?
Probably the next WWA favor. Other than that, I'll be in Japan mostly, you know. So I have a pretty full schedule working in Japan. I'm not going to be working much in the States. And I'm going to try to work for the WWA whenever I can. Anthony McManus, the guy who runs it's a good guy, you know, and I enjoyed working for him. So I'll work for him whenever I can, you know. He cares about the show. He tries to entertain the people. And I just like working for the guy, you know, because they really try hard to make sure the fans get their money's worth, which is just a good atmosphere to be around, you know.
Any thoughts about maybe getting together with Shane Douglas now that he's over with XPW and doing something there?
I don't think I'll have the free time, you know. I just don't think I will. I'm committed to a lot of weeks overseas, you know. I just don't think I'll have the free time.
All right, well, Perry Saturn, you can see him on the World Wrestling All-Stars pay-per-view coming up on February the 9th. Check your local cable and satellite provider for details on how you can order that and times and price and everything else. And Perry, I know one thing you got to enjoy with a little bit more time at home, you get to spend a little bit more time with the kid and the wife, right?
Yes. Play with my dog.
What kind of dog you have?
King Corso. Italian Mastiff.
Not bad. Perry, appreciate the time. Thank you very much. Have a safe trip to Japan.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, bye-bye. Perry Saturn joining us on the Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB. More when we come back on the voice of the Mid-Miami Valley, AM 910 WPFB.
Were you one of those kids who was always sketching and drawing your way through class? Do you like designing or drawing on the computer? If so, you may be interested in ITT Technical Institute's Computer Drafting and Design program. Call now for an ITT Tech brochure at 800-862-1100. At ITT Tech, you get more than just theory. You get a hands-on education in computer drafting and design. In addition to traditional computer-aided drafting, you'll study both manual and computer techniques, including rapid visualization, a process of quickly sketching out an idea. And you can get your degree in just 2 years, and that's by attending classes only 3 days a week. You can even keep your present job while you go to school. Financial aid is available for those who qualify. So if you like drafting, design, and spending time with computers, call 800-862-1100 for an ITT Tech brochure. Prepare to put your interest to work for you. That's ITT Tech, 1-800-862-1100.
Every year, there are thousands of pets and animal shelters across the country just waiting for a loving home. I'm Bill Marr with a very simple message. If you're thinking of getting a pet, please adopt. To easily locate your closest place to adopt, call Pets 911 at 1-888-PETS-911 or visit the website at 1-888-PETS911.org. It's easy, it's free, and it gives a pet a second chance at life. And most importantly, a loving home.
Brought to you by Paws.
The 910 WPFB forecast for the Mid-Miami Valley. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 15. Thursday, mostly sunny, a high of 35. Friday, mostly cloudy, chance of rain and snow showers, high of 40. Saturday, look for mostly cloudy skies, a high of 38. Currently, it's 25 at 910 WPFB. Coming up at the top of the hour, a Hamilton County Commissioner is apparently ready to sue the Cincinnati Bengals and the NFL. That and more coming up at 7 o'clock on 910 WPFB.
You're listening to The Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB.
Back on The Wrestling Guys, my thanks to Perry Saturn for joining us on AM 910 WPFB. My name is Shawn Stidham. Real quick, again, I mentioned earlier, UCW has a show this Saturday, a free show, 1 o'clock. If you want information, that hotline number they have is 937-640-2946. Again, 937-640-2946. A free show Saturday, 1 o'clock at the Olive Road Flea Market in Dayton. The other show to mention to you, the Worldwide Wrestling, appears Friday night at Torrey Station in Fairfield. Details available at worldwidewrestling.net. The HWA Saturday night at the Red Barn in Batavia. Go to hwaonline.com to check out the information for that show. And OutlawChampionshipWrestling.com, you'll find out about the next OCW show, also happening Saturday night in Yellow Springs at the John Bryan Community Center. Larry Zbyszko is in the middle of a lawsuit with Vince McMahon. Larry alleges that the WWE violated his trademark on the name The Living Legend when Chris Jericho began using that title at one point last year. Vince McMahon was scheduled to give his deposition in the lawsuit today, and as more information comes in on that lawsuit, we will let you know. Kind of think the whole thing's silly anyway, given the fact that, let's face it, when you think of The Living Legend, no disrespect to Larry Zbyszko, but I think Larry was using that title as a rub in the face of Bruno Sammartino during their feud 20 years ago. I mean, 23 years ago. Time flies. And so now for Larry to be upset about that, if anybody has a right to file a lawsuit, I think it would be Bruno Sammartino. Granted, Larry's used that title, but I think that Bruno at some point could have said, if he really wanted to, Larry, no, stop. That's my name. I'm sure a lot of you saw the Super Bowl this past Saturday. One of the best commercials, I thought, was the terrible Terry Tate, the Office linebacker, which I thought was a phenomenal commercial. The guy who played that is a former wrestler from the old Global Wrestling Federation promotion. His real name is Lester Spate, and he used to go under the name of Rasta the Voodoo Man, and also was known as Flex, managed by Kevin the Truth Casey. There's an article available, if you want to check out more about him right now, available at usatoday.com. We're going to take a break. More when we come back here on The Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB.
You try, and you try.
Well, that's it for this week's Imagination Theater.
But you always seem to miss your weekly fix of Imagination Theater. Well, now you can change that and never miss it again with the Imagination Theater program subscription series. For just $24.95 a month, you'll automatically receive the latest Imagination Theater episode on compact disc or cassette, and it just shows up in your mailbox. Now, is that cool or what? For just $5.75 a week, you'll own the entire Imagination Theater collection to listen to for years to come. So call us today at 800-229-7234. We'll automatically charge your Visa or MasterCard each month, and you can cancel anytime you wish. It's really fast, really simple, and really cool. Plus, you'll receive periodic special episodes, too, like our Halloween and Christmas shows. So call us today and order your Imagination Theater subscription series for just $24.95 a month. Call 1-800-229-7234. WPFB's Pet Project has been deemed a success. Let's check in with Paws Director Peggy Landis. Is it easy to adopt? I mean, what are the adoption rules for Paws?
We really don't have rules. There are guidelines that we go by. I think our main goal is just to make sure that the people are aware of the laws that go along with owning an animal, and that they are a responsible home, and they are aware of the medical expenses that goes along with adopting an animal.
When you say medical expenses, now they get the animal healthy.
Right. All of the animals that come from Paws have been spayed or neutered already. We also keep them current on shots. Let's say that you came in to get a puppy that was 16 weeks old. They will need additional shots. And then, of course, once a year, they go back to their vet for the exams and keep them current on the shots.
Listen to Pet Project Daily right here on AM 910 WPFB.
And now back to the Wrestling Guys on the station that's part of your life, AM 910 WPFB.
Welcome back. My name is Shawn. Thanks for joining us tonight on the Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB. I get you update on some of the stories we had at the beginning of the program in case you missed it. Raw this last Monday had its highest rating in months, a 4.1 rating, which I believe you can directly connect to the hype. I don't know if I would go so far as to say hysteria yet, but the hype and the anticipation over the return of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Even though Eric Bischoff said that Austin probably would not be there until the pay-per-view, people are tuning in anyway because they want to see the Rattlesnake once again back in the WWE. Matt Hardy suffered a sprained MCL this last Monday night at a house show in Milwaukee at the hands of Nathan Jones during a botched spot. Nathan Jones, who is not very popular right now in the locker room anyway because of what is being perceived as a prima donna attitude, was said to look very upset after the match, knowing that he had screwed up royally. Yet, despite the sloppiness in the ring and the attitude behind the scenes, the WWE continues to push him into a major role coming up on SmackDown. NWA Total Non-Stop Action tonight. The preview of tonight's show looks a little bit like this. You will have Ron the Truth Killings against Mike Sanders. Also tonight, more on the situation between Jeff Jarrett and Raven, and exactly why those guys just, for whatever reason, cannot get along. Also tonight on NWA Total Non-Stop Action, Sonny Siaki and Desire against Kid Cash and Trinity. Jerry Lynn will take on David Flair. You will have the return of Tony Schiavone. Larry Zbyszko will be there tonight to talk about his upcoming rematch against AJ Styles. And according to a number of people, another surprise is scheduled tonight on NWA Total Non-Stop Action. Who could it be? Tune in tonight, 8 o'clock. Check your cable or satellite provider for more details about how you can get NWA Total Non-Stop Action. Congratulations going out to Dan Severn, the former NWA World Heavyweight Champion and UFC competitor. He is going to be inducted into the Hawaii Martial Arts Hall of Fame. That will take place later this summer on July the 12th. So congratulations going out to Dan Severn. Jimmy Hart is going to get back into the wrestling business a little bit more. He is going to be having his own show in Tampa, Florida at the Florida State Fair on Monday, February the 10th. Scheduled to be there include Kurt Hennig, Buff Bagwell, the Nasty Boys, Conan, Norman Smiley, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. All will be there at the show. Also, George Jones is going to be a part of the fair on that date, and they're hoping to have the ability to show this show. Can I say that? Hoping to air that either on television or on pay-per-view sometime in the future. Also, Jimmy Hart is still holding out hope for the XWF, the promotion that tried to get off the ground several times last year but failed to do so. He's hoping they can at one point air an XWS pay-per-view. No word if it would be new footage or quite simply the footage they filmed, a year and a half ago with Hulk Hogan and Jerry Lawler. So we will keep you updated on that. Don't forget, if you want the latest wrestling news 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can always call the Wrestling Guys hotline at 937-229-9229. Also, we are available online at thewrestlingguys.com. Nunzio and Chris Benoit will be the guest on WWE Bite This. That's available at WWE.com on Fridays at 4 o'clock. So if you want to get the latest on Benoit and Nunzio, you can do that. According to Dave Scher at OneWrestling.com, Raven, although his release was immediate along with Just Incredible last week, they will not be able to talk about their time in the WWE for some period of time because of a confidentiality agreement they signed with the company. Normally, when somebody is released from the WWE, they're released with 3 months' pay, with the stipulation that you cannot work for anybody else during that time period. Apparently, that is not the case, obviously, with Raven and Just Incredible, as Raven showed up just last week at a NWA TNA show, and Just Incredible's got some upcoming dates very, very soon on the indie circuit. But I guess part of the deal was that we will go ahead and release you and let you go work, but you cannot talk about anything for, I would assume, 3 months. But I'm sure once that is over, Raven and Just Incredible both will have some very interesting things to say. SmackDown tomorrow night, a preview of what you can anticipate. Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas take on Chris Benoit and Edge. Bill DeMott against Rikishi. You've got Shannon Moore and Billy Kidman. Eddie Guerrero against John Cena. And Rey Mysterio battles the A-Train. And Vince McMahon has his own bombshell announcement tomorrow night on SmackDown. Something to counter Stephanie McMahon's bombshell last week of bringing back Hulk Hogan What will it be? Tune in to SmackDown tomorrow night. If you don't get a chance to tune in to SmackDown, you can always in game call the Wrestling Guys hotline. We will have the SmackDown results up early for you tomorrow. And again, that's at 937-229-9229. Phil Goldberg had a chat this past Monday on America Online and didn't really give anything else as far as what's going on between him and the WWE. He said he confirmed his meeting with The Rock for personal and business reasons. He said, quote, about working in the WWE long-term, quote, if the circumstances are right, I'm definitely in it for the long term, end quote. Currently, Goldberg filming a movie that is supposed to be a sequel of sorts to the Space Jam movie that Michael Jordan did back in, 1995, 96, somewhere around there. And so he's working on that right now. But general consensus is that Goldberg, who did meet face-to-face with Vince McMahon about 3 weeks ago, will sign a contract to face The Rock at WrestleMania. Now, the plan behind the scenes, according to those in the know, is if Goldberg, for whatever reason, decides not to sign with the company, rather than having The Rock versus Goldberg, they will have The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. By the way, Austin's article in Raw Magazine is now available on newsstands. It is very, very interesting. He is very direct about his feelings about The Rock. He was not happy at the promo The Rock cut that night on Raw after Austin left, and when he said, if you don't want to be here, do what the logo says, get the F out. Austin felt like that he had played a major part in helping The Rock get over with the fans, and even if Vince McMahon had came to Austin, Austin says he would not have cut that promo. He just didn't feel like it was the right thing to do. He's also very opinionated about Triple H, about Vince McMahon, and about a number of other features and a number of other topics. And you can, again, find that article in this week's Raw Magazine. Want to thank BJ Bethel for joining us tonight on the Wrestling Guys. Don't forget you can read BJ Bethel at TWMPnews.com and PWTorch.com. Also hearing weekends at the Wrestling Guys hotline, 937-229-9229. Also my thanks to Perry Saturn, who is probably in Japan as we speak. We taped that interview a little while ago, and he's going to be working for the next month or so for New Japan. And again, the WWA pay-per-view Retribution comes on February the 9th. I'm Shawn Fittum. Have a great night. I will talk to you next week right here on the voice of the Mid-Miami Valley, AM 910, WPFB.
Listening to the Tag Team Champions of Talk Radio, the Wrestling Guys. Join us every week after the 6 o'clock news on the station that's a part of your life, AM 910 WPFB.
You're listening to the voice of the Singay Corridor, AM 910 WPFB, Middletown, Kettering.
Do you know where your news is?
On 910 WPFB.
It's 7 o'clock. There may soon be fewer signs stuck in the ground around Middletown announcing local events and attractions. I'm Dwight Smith, 910 WPFB News. A loosely organized group called In Town said the program would be better appealing aesthetically and economically.
We thought if we all got together and did something a bit more standardized, it would look